All right, what's going on, guys? So today we're back. We're doing a little bit of a different video today. We're going to talk about reselling locally in your city or town. Our last couple videos have all been about eBay, and eBay isn't where we make all of our sales. Actually, we make a majority of our sales reselling locally. So we just want to share some of the tricks and tips that we've learned just doing it ourselves. All right, so yeah, I think reselling locally might be a little bit intimidating for some people, just because you have to go out there and meet new people. Sometimes you might be scared that you run into like someone that's sketchy or someone who will try to bargain you. But honestly, it's not as bad as it sounds. It's very straightforward, and it's really easy to get started. So we'll just give you guys some tricks and tips. Okay, so first things first, how do you get started selling locally? We would recommend that you guys just start around your house, start selling simple things that you don't use and that you don't mind getting rid of. This is how we started. I would sell just like small like TVs that I haven't used in years, like my Xbox 360. These are things that you don't think about too much, but they do add up once you start selling a lot of them.
Yeah, you also don't need all these items that you have don't need to be super valuable. Like, just get used to selling some of these things. Like, if it's just gonna make you an extra $20 or
Yeah.
something, do that. Because if you're never gonna use something, just sell that. Get used to it. Get used to the listing on all the different apps because there are a lot of different ones, and it is easier than posting on eBay, but it's still something that you want to get used to, so you can do it quicker and quicker every time.
Yeah, and someone will buy everything. You'll be surprised. Something you haven't used in years that you don't see any value in. There's somebody out there that will want to buy it.
Yeah, for sure.
What's cool about selling all these apps and websites that you can sell locally on is that you don't have a limit as to how many things you can post. So you can just go in your house. If you find like 50 items that you haven't used, you can post them and you don't have any restrictions. Unlike eBay, which when you guys are starting, you have like ten items that you can start with.
Yeah, you have 10, and then if you sell like one thing, they'll up your limit, and then you can do like 20. But every month you're only allowed 50 free items anyway, and then they're going to start paying another fee. But on Kijiji and Leko, like he said, it's going to be a lot easier, and you're not going to have to pay anything. And also, when you're selling locally, you're not you're not going to be docked that 10% fee or the 3% PayPal fee. You're getting all that money that you listed it for,
Yeah,
so it's great. You're going to have to maybe sometimes meet people. It's a little bit of gas money, but whatever. Like, that's a lot less than a ten
yeah,
percent fee
and
on
it's all
whatever.
cash too.
It's all, yeah. You're
Yeah,
getting cash.
who
So
doesn't like cash? So some of the best apps slash websites to resell on. So what we're using right now, we're using mainly Letgo, Facebook Marketplace, and Kijiji. If you guys don't know what Kijiji is, if you're not Canadian, it's basically Craigslist in the States. These are like the main ways that we use to sell. There's also so many other apps out there that we haven't even dabbled into, but
yeah. So on eBay, you can ship across. You can do worldwide, or you can do like just in the U.S., just in Canada. But there is also an option where you can just do local sales. So if you just flip that toggle, it'll just show people in your area. So that they can just pick it up, and you can do local sales that way too. If you're familiar with eBay and it's going to be easier for you, then just do that. But there are so many more apps where you can get your items on, so many more people will see that. If you have nothing in your house to sell and you'd like to go to thrift stores or garage sales and stuff like that, you can still do that and still flip it on Kijiji, Letgo, Facebook Marketplace. You can still make money that way. It's just for eBay and stuff like that, when you're buying stuff for that cheap at a thrift store, it's nice to have a lot more people seeing it. So that's why we sell most of our things on eBay when it comes to thrift stores and stuff like that.
yeah, usually eBay is good for the really niche products. Some like the random items that you've never heard of, but you search it up on eBay and it sells. That's
Yeah.
the main place to sell for things like that.
But saying that, you still can get very lucky at a garage sale or a thrift store, and it's something that people want. Like, you can get perfect shoes. Like, we went to Plato's Closet and we bought some shoes there for like $25 and sold them for 80, like multiple times. So that's something that you can do pretty easily. And all of those sales, all the shoe sales that we've ever sold have been local, have been on Facebook Marketplace or Kijiji. Um, I don't think we've actually ever sold shoes on eBay.
If you guys want to try to do some research, seeing what kind of items sell in your area, you can go on these apps, Facebook Marketplace. As soon as you open it up, you can see what kind of items are selling in your location. Usually it's like phones and a lot of like brand new shoes, stuff like that sells. So do your research before you guys go out and make that initial investment.
Yeah, the same way that we showed you in the last video of checking what has sold, like what the completed listings and what they've sold for and how frequently. You can also check on like Letgo. You can check someone's profile and you can see if it's someone that sells a lot of things. You can tell that they're a reseller. You can see what they've sold, and it'll show what price they listed it for. So you get an idea, and the date. Usually, you'll get an idea from doing that of how much you can sell an item for.
Yeah, so once you guys get to listing your items, you might be kind of confused on how to price them. You don't want to, if you start off too high, you're not going to end up selling it. Usually selling locally, a lot of people will try to bargain you down. So you want to give a very reasonable price, something that you'll be happy with. And if you're making that investment in thrift stores, obviously you need to make that profit or you're just losing money. There's no point. Have a competitive price.
One thing with local sales though, usually if someone's looking on Kijiji or Letgo, they're looking for a product because they want to get it for cheaper. So they know that they can maybe go online and buy this product or something very similar to it, but they know that it's something that someone wants to get rid of and they're selling locally. So they're gonna try to bargain with you a lot, or they're just gonna try to look for those lower prices. So you need to be very competitive with your prices.
Yeah.
And if you're not getting these products for very low, like at a very low cost, then sometimes it's really not worth it because you can buy something for like $10 and think you can sell it for like $100 or $80, but people will only respond if you put it for like $60 or $40. So you need to be flexible with your pricing on local sales for sure. So on all these local sale apps, you're gonna have like kind of basically like a score. So it's like reviews. So like on eBay, your seller's account will have your name and then how many reviews and how many positive reviews and how many negative reviews. It's the same thing with like Letgo, Facebook Marketplace, or Kijiji. You'll have like stars and it'll say how many people reviewed you. So you're gonna want to make a lot of sales on these apps so that more people can review you and your ratings will be a little bit higher because people are gonna look for someone who's rated a little bit higher to buy from because they're gonna want to trust the person that they're buying this used item from. And same with you. You're gonna want to see if your buyer has good reviews because you don't want to be meeting someone sketchy or something like that. Like you just want to make sure your buyer is a serious buyer and he's gonna meet you on time. He's a friendly guy and stuff like that. So
Yeah, so if you guys want kind of a quick start to getting good reviews, just sell cheap items around your house for $5, $10, and just politely ask the person who's buying to give you a good review. Because once other people who are buying more expensive items from you see that, they'll trust you a lot more.
to get an idea of like what sells and what other people are doing, kind of like what we've been doing is looking at a lot of other videos on YouTube or looking at like some blogs and stuff like that. But one like number one inspiration for both of us is probably Gary V, my man Gary. He's got something called Trash Talk, and it's basically getting other people's trash and making it into cash. And those videos have really like inspired us and kind of showed us like a good idea of what sells. And he does he'll go to a garage sale and he'll buy like mugs. One
Yeah.
thing he's known for is something called Mug Life, and
Mug life.
he'll buy like mugs for like 25, like 50 cents, and he sells some of them for like $10 to $15. Like it's a really good return on
Yeah.
everything, and it's something that we had no idea about. Like I didn't know mugs would sell, and they do sell pretty well.
Oh, yeah, I would watch these videos and I would be like, what is this garbage that he's buying?
Yeah, yeah.
But it turns out it's actually a profitable item to sell.
Yeah, so that's something that we'd recommend is just doing your research, and it'll definitely and it'll inspire you, and it'll give you great ideas of what to sell and like how much to sell it for too. Um,
And what to look for.
exactly, yeah, and what
Yeah.
to look for.
Yeah, so safety is a concern for a lot of beginners. But honestly, you guys don't have anything to worry about. Just sell in a public place, sell in like a Starbucks, especially if you guys are selling more expensive items and you're worried about, losing that item or being robbed or whatever. Obviously, it's a real concern, but if you guys just take the right precautions, you'll be fine.
Yeah, also maybe go with a buddy. Sometimes you're gonna be meeting someone and they're gonna be with somebody else, and say you're selling like a used phone or something, they're gonna want to look at that. So like they have the right to grab the phone and look at it for a second, see if everything's working. But one thing I like to do is I always like to hold on to the money first before he even touches it, so that in case he tries to run off or something like that. But that's why we say like meet in a public place. If you're in a Starbucks or something like that, no one's gonna want to try something like that. It's way too risky.
Just be as careful as possible. Like these things do happen, but they don't happen nearly as often as you would think they do. Yeah. So if you guys are gonna treat this like a business, you want to be respectful and polite to your buyers, which are basically your customers. Like today, we sold this purse to a lady who didn't have a car, so we drove out to her. It's small things like that that really start to give you good reviews and start to give you a good name. You guys are gonna start to get a lot of messages. People are gonna be bargaining straight from the get-go. You wanna reply as professional as possible. Sometimes people will offer you something that is just like insulting. Like what were you saying today?
I listed shoes that retail for like 120, but after taxes you're gonna be spending like almost 150. I listed them for like $75, and someone offered me like $30. They're like $30. I was like, sorry, the lowest I'll go is 55. Like that's pretty good from 75 to 55. He just like kind of demanded. He said make it 40, like $5 over his initial offer, and something like that. Like I'm angry. Like I want to kind of say something, but like if I want to get these good reviews and stuff, I can't speak to someone like that. So it's best to just not answer sometimes, or just say, all right, thank you, and that's it. Like you just leave it at that.
And even sometimes if they offer you a low number and then you say no, 80 is the lowest I can do or whatever. Sometimes you'll even come out with them being like, all right, fine, I'll do 80.
Yeah, a lot of the times actually, they'll ask if it's negotiable. You say yes. They go too low, and they'll say, okay, never mind, I don't want it. I've had a couple people that 3 or 4 days later, they say, is it still available?
And they start running back.
And then they'll take it for the price that I listed it for. So you just don't be discouraged if someone's interested but then doesn't want to buy it, because that's going to happen all the time. You're going to have people saying, oh, can I pick up today, or can I pick up like tomorrow or something like that? And then you're going to say like, hey, are you still coming? And they're never going to answer. So just don't be discouraged by that. It's going to happen all the time. Yeah. Just expect it and just wait for the right buyer. All right, that's a wrap. Thanks for watching this video, this short little video on how to sell locally, and hopefully that helped you out. If you have any questions or you're confused about some things, just leave a comment down below.
Good luck.
Good luck.